place. So we'll see if Lucky can continue that and continue pushing themselves towards a top 8, because he had a really rough start to the day playing just the Dark Flight, even though he was able to turn 1 into at least the top 4. So still in a really good position in 8th place in that pole position of the people who will make day 2 as we go into the back half of the day. And we're going to start with Lucky's board, grabbing a chain vest off the carousel.
Yeah, and Lucky is someone, he has been around the competitive scene for a little while. We actually casted him back in the Set 6.5 Challenger Series, which was functionally that Last Chance Qualifier. He's actually one of 2 players who are back in this. It's him and Phoenix. And so far, this set, he's actually been doing not great. Out of the 12 players in this field who have over 25 games, he has the worst average placement, the worst first place rate. But that doesn't matter when you're in a... It's a bit rough to call this a weaker field, but when you have 22 of the strongest players in North America already qualified for regionals, yeah, let's face the reality, this is a bit of a weaker field, but that doesn't mean that Lucky is not good at the game and he's not playing well today, and he is doing pretty well so far today.
Well, I mean, it's also important to note that Lucky, it seems, has been taking it a little bit easy on set 7 and set 7.5 comparatively to Lucky in set 6. And you mentioned set 6.5 Challenger Series. Lucky played phenomenally on day 1 of that Challenger Series. Didn't end up winning it, right? That was taken down by someone else. But Lucky was really, really solid in that tournament. And he's shown that he is a very, very good player. So it's not surprising to see him come out, pick up a first place, be in the top 8 right now, potentially make day 2. And he's still got a lot to show here in set 7.5.
Yeah, someone who I believe has also been around Fight Nights as well, so has a share of experience. We've got a lot of these players who have been around for a while, just like looking for their breakthrough, really looking to get better. They're looking to be the next Spicy Appies from set 6. So we'll see how he does. We go into our first augment choice. We're getting another silver augment. The augments have been relatively tame today, which no crazy triple prismatic lobbies or anything. We got a couple interesting choices. You got the 2 econ augments with consistency and AFK. Even as someone who has really liked open forwarding in the past, I'm actually not the biggest fan of it. Right now, it just feels... It feels so easy to miss sometimes, so like, AFK, you can get some value out of it, but Lucky really taking his time to think about this choice.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a player in this lobby play consistency extremely well in Dragon Cup. It was Phoenix who put on a clinic with that augment, taking a first after perfectly converting a loss streak into a win streak. But it's going to be AFK instead for Lucky, just going for that consistent econ. Bringing in with that AFK, just going to be open forwarding a little bit at the start, but then can start to turn things around with a lot of money. The big note for this game is Namzi is a mage. That is the most common way we will see Namzi actually played. Sometimes you'll see Evoker, but generally just the mage version. So Namzi is a composition that we can be watching out for in this lobby.
Yeah, Renzer has already slammed the Jewel Gauntlet, has the Astrals online early, so has the potential to go towards that Namzi Mage angle. He's someone who's been playing a lot of stuff, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him pull that angle out. Lucky, like we said, did end up taking the AFK, going over to Sag, pulled item grab bag and pulled a locket from it. This is an item that a lot of people haven't really been building by choice, but it's still pretty good early. It's still good for preserving HP. Unfortunately, didn't win the first round off it. This is not the strongest board. There's just not a lot of damage. Just because you have a locket for some extra frontline doesn't mean you're going to be strong. But Sag, he would have probably liked something else from grab bag, let's be honest.
Oh, I'm sure. But the thing that Sag has been doing that has been incredibly impressive all day is just preserving HP in general. I mean, he's in 4th place currently after 3 games. This is not a player that I had very heavily on my radar going into this, but throughout the entire day, he has impressed me a lot in his ability to just maintain HP. He was always high HP by the time we're hitting stage 4, stage 5, and he's been able to convert that into really solid placements, and that's netting him a 4th. He's looking very good. If he's continuing to just play the way he is, he's going to make it today too. And he's someone that I will be watching a lot more closely for the rest of the day and potentially into tomorrow if he's able to continue this success, because he's been so solid on playing just very flexibly, playing the strongest board, and pushing towards those late game transitions.
Yeah, he has been really solid today, and this is coming off from, as far as I can tell, this is his first competitive event ever in TFT. But he is also coming into this currently ranked 2 on ladder. He's currently out of this field the highest ranked on ladder. So I'm really impressed by his placement so far and his play, and it seems like he's able to just stay calm and play the lines he knows. And for someone, when this is your first tournament, that right there is ridiculously impressive.
Yeah, it feels like he understands this set really, really well, because a lot of the times we're seeing these players in this meta needing to force into something when you see the line early. We talked about this a lot, how that feels like what the meta is. But Sag has not been doing that. It's been very flexible play, late game pivots. We've seen a lot of different compositions, and I am expecting to see just even more flexibility out of Sag as we go forward. And I think that's what it takes to be so high on the ladder in the current meta.
Yeah, I also wouldn't be surprised to see him go for the Seraphine Graves this game. He has the early Lagoon. He has some good components for it. I talked about Flowchart TFT earlier in the cast, and there's definitely a line to go for that this game. It's probably not something you're going to see super heavily contested. We've seen it played by 2 players max, so the odds you hit are not particularly low. So we'll see if that's the route he opts to go to in the late game as we hit our second carousel.
I'm going into this one, taking stock of the augments. You know, I mentioned a certain player played a perfect consistency game in Dragon Cup, perfectly going from an open 4 lose streak into a win streak, and that player was Phoenix A, and they've got consistency in this game as well. So I'm very interested to see if they're able to pull it off again. Can Lightning strike twice, as Phoenix currently looks like they are on a perfect loss streak, and we'll see if they can completely turn that around. But also AFK from Covenel, so a lot of econing going on in this lobby.
Okay, I'm convinced that iLucky and Covenel are just twins, because they've been mirroring each other's Rengars. Apparently they're mirroring each other's AFKs, so twinsies, I guess.
Yeah, they've been holding hands a lot today, but not as much as we thought. We thought a lot of those Rengars earlier were going to cause them to just go 7th, 8th. That really wasn't the case, but it wasn't a lot of success from that composition, and it's more so been Covenel taking the short end of the stick on the placements with that, whereas Lucky has been able to convert into some better spots. And I'm hoping to see Covenel move away from just spamming the Dark Flight even more in this game, but that is yet to be seen. First 3 games, it's been 3 Rengars for Covenel, and we'll see if that will change at all throughout the day. Hopefully that starts here in game 4. But on board with Sully. Sully in second place currently overall, been playing some excellent TFT as well. He's another one of those players who's been doing a great job at converting win streaks.
Yeah, and as far as his history, the set goes, he's actually got some of the best stats in this tournament. The thing is, those are from Jade Cup and Dragon Cup, where he went through the first weekend against the more like open bracket portion of those events, and then he just got day 3'd. So someone who I think is in the purest sense, the wild card of the tournament. He's someone who kind of just appeared out of nowhere. He's clearly shown he can beat up on weaker players, but as soon as he gets to that second weekend, it becomes a little bit rougher. But in this tournament, where that is that little bit of a weaker field, like I said earlier, it's the prime environment for him to show off a little bit, and so far in second place with 18 points, he is doing that.
But yeah, I mean, remember Sully in one of the early games, we saw such a big reaction from him placing 3rd instead of 2nd by 1 HP. And even with that, he's sitting in 2nd place, right, with 18 points. He could have even more with even just the slightest difference in variation on one of those games. And he's just keeping his mental strong, keeping playing some really solid TFT, and trying to move forward to make a bigger name for himself, as he's come so close in multiple tournaments, but just getting day 3'd over and over again. And now is an opportunity to make it to that day 2 and push for a spot at regionals.
Yeah, it's actually funny that we now have 2 Sullys in this tournament, because Appy's name is Sully. So it's actually funny. I found out that Appy's saw Sully. It was like, who is this? Wait, there's another Sully? Ran into him in the Twitch chat, made friends with him, and now Sully is in Appy's chat, and they talk about the game. So it's the Sullys are collaborating. You love to see it.
Yeah, Team Sully going at it. One side of it having a great tournament, the other starting to bring it back with a 3rd in the last game.
Yes, indeed.
I still think Appy's can turn this around. Only needs to make it to top 8, and we'll see how he is going after this match is done when we get the results from Lobby A as well. As we jump on board with Phoenix, who is perfectly playing consistency so far. And we'll see how he continues to play it, because this is a player who has executed flawlessly on this strategy in the past. Already dropping to 56 HP, but this is all about the lose streak, making so much money right now because the lose streak bonus is doubled. Phoenix is going to have a surplus of cash to start pushing levels, and then once they do, he needs to completely turn this loss streak into a full win streak, and if he does, he is going to be so rich, so strong, he should be able to turn it into a first, and we've seen Phoenix do it before.
Yeah, I do wonder what he's going to play from here. He has a lot of components on his bench. He finally slams a Sunfire. That doesn't tell me anything. Sunfire Cape is such a flexible item. It's just, oh, cool. We have Frontline and Anti-Heal and the good damage item. This gives me no sense of what direction he's going in, so we'll see if he opts on 3-2 to roll, what direction he goes from there, and what he does with these remaining items. I see a Ginsu's possibly, maybe an Ionic if he wants to go AP. So he's got some options, and going into 3-2, let's see what he does.
Yeah, I think it was for Phoenix, that was an item that he felt safe slamming. It was confident it wouldn't win him the round, but also trying to kill a couple more units because he's losing a lot of HP. It's like there is CB would just be fine with anything. Yeah, and it's just gonna be CB.
Yeah, just super flexible takes right now. He has 82 gold on 3-2.
Yeah,
Is trying to figure out what to do with his board. I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see him just like take a couple more losses, go for something on 3-5 on level 7, just keep up that consistency. He's going to be super rich. He's going to have a lot of gold to work with. Doesn't look like he's rolling, and I think we're just going to get some more consistency losses. On the other end of things, we're hopping over to TrickP, who is already level 7, 37 gold on 3-2. This man is rich and strong and healthy.
Yeah, I mean, he's as rich, if not richer than Phoenix is, and Phoenix was playing consistency this whole time. I guess just getting a lot of value out of Shimmer, probably from an early stage in the game, but it is just needlessly big gem, which is generally not one that is generating a ton of gold for you in the early stages of the game. It's more been this win streak and potentially just a lot of gold early on. But yeah, really well done from TrickP to hold on to this win streak until now, of course. As we get here in Sag, able to take him down, stop that win streak, slow down this snowball that TrickP was rolling down the hill towards everyone else.
Yeah, pretty much any other scenario where you level to 7 on 3-2 and lose, you're saying, yeah, this game's over. I can't come back from this. Game's out the window. But TrickP has 40 gold. Who cares? He doesn't care. This man's rolling in money. He's so rich. Come on.
Yeah, he's so rich. He's just going to be looking to find an angle of what exactly he wants to play. Has relatively flexible items, has that Death's Defiance, which is going to be a very powerful pickup for any carry to be able to mitigate that damage, slow things down. Works really great with a lot of the melees, you know, the Olaf, but this feels more like you'd want to play at least Dragons is the tier, so maybe we see Soy and Siphon, as Death's Defiance can be great on either of those Dragons as well.
Yeah, this feels like a lobby where it is actually a little less flowcharty. You do have, you're gonna have some players, like, they know what lines they're gonna play. You're probably gonna have, considering Lucky and Covenel are in this lobby, you're gonna have one Rengar player, you're gonna have probably a Graves player, but a lot of these players are slamming super flexible items. Sag with the Zeeks and the Hand of Justice. It looks like it could be Grave Seraphine, but realistically those items are so flexible that it could be so many different things. I think we're going to see a lot of flex play out of this lobby, which frankly is kind of unusual for the set.
Well, we are seeing a little bit of direction in a couple of the augments. I mean, mainly, honestly, mainly it's just Sully, right? Essence Theft, that's going to be mages. Probably Nomsy, considering this is a mage Nomsy lobby, but it could still be Sohm, it could still be Lux, right? There's other options. Once we check back in with Sully, we'll maybe see where he's going, but I would assume Nomsy in a mage Nomsy lobby. You heard Frodan talking about how good that augment is with that dragon. The rest is relatively flexible. Lucky, the only one that's less flexible with Bruiser Crest, but still that's just a front line, right? You can just play one other Bruiser, call it good. You're just getting the two Bruiser synergy. So yeah, you're right, everyone's staying flexible. We see Jewel Lotus, Capote Grab Bag, Celestial Blessing, right? CB here. Yeah, very, very flexible so far. And Phoenix now looking to move into a win streak for the consistency, going to 7, getting a Zippy 2, which is a very strong unit, but it looks like didn't quite get their last unit in time and just ends up playing a Malphite.
Yeah, finds the Zippy 2, finds the Xayah board. I don't know if this is good enough to get him through stage 4, but considering how much gold he has on bench, it might be enough to still just go level 8 on 4-2, 4-5 for now. Just has that Xayah board. The Zippy 2 is more stabilizing than anything. That's a really good pickup for him. So we'll see. You hyped him up as this really good consistency player. Let's see if he lives up to it.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And already this is, not as perfect as his last one because there is a win-loss win there, but it's still just one of those happening in the transitional period of going from the loss streak into the win streak. Has landed on his feet with the Zippy 2, finding his Xayah. It's a good setup to play the Xayah guild, and it's just a matter of can Phoenix fully turn this into a win streak. I'm less convinced with this board in particular, but it is a fairly strong board and it should be able to find wins. I just don't think this is a guaranteed win streak yet.
Yeah, it depends on, it kind of depends on the rest of the lobby, but this is a solid board, and I think this board is definitely good enough for these 2 fights. The Zippy 2 with the Sunfire just does so much work and buys so much time. It's not your ideal Xayah board. I think ideally you'd like a Jace for just one more guild, but the 3 Swift Shot, it's not the greatest spike, but it is not...
Yeah, rough.
Yeah,
rough.
It's a good board. It just wasn't good enough. Covenel also went level 7.
Yeah, I think Phoenix found a direction that was going to be okay with the Zippy 2, but not finding Xayah 2, not finding that Jace, which would give some more frontline, I think was really harmful for Phoenix, and that is causing this consistency from, we've seen what Phoenix can do with this augment. It's just not showing up as well in this game. There are outside factors, and you have to hit on that roll down, and you need your opponents to not hit too hard as well. And right now, it's just not enough power for Phoenix. As we jump on board with Renzer, who is actually playing that Nomzi. That was not who took Essence Theft, though. That was Sully who took Essence Theft. Renzer taking Sunfire board, being more flexible, but is going to be a Nomzi player.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to get two mage players this lobby. Renzer did slam the Jewel Gauntlet earlier, had on the Lux, so able to successfully find his direction, successfully hit Nomzi 2 on level 6. Finally level 7 as we hop on board with Sully as well, who is going for the Lux, so the slightly different version of the mage line. So is doing his roll down. Does have a Nomzi 2 on bench. We'll finally get in for the 5 mages. Has 7 Luxes. Should be looking to go in soon. I imagine his items are looking a little... They're looking okay. You can opt to put this Archangel Staff on the Lux. That's exactly what he's gonna do. Has a Silas 2 as well. He's in a pretty good spot. His frontline items are a little bit weird, although honestly, I wouldn't mind him slamming the second Warmogs just to really buff up the shield he's going to get from Protector's Vow. And it's not the most efficient use of his items, but it's just what's on the Silas and what's on his bench, and you're going for Lux items anyways. So we'll see going into the second augment choice. These all look pretty good, honestly. Yeah, these look really nice
augments. What would you take here? I mean, it's Jeweled or Axiom for sure, right? I mean, Battle Mage is out, but those are still super nice. Thinking about the items, I guess there's a Jeweled Gauntlet, but there is not an IE. Giving more critical strike chance is not bad, but it kind of accomplishes the same thing as that JG. Axiom Arc, you don't have a full mana item yet for, there's no blue buff, there's no Shojin, so Axiom Arc can be really nice.
I'm not gonna lie, this might be a tactics.tools angle, so he's gonna go with the Jeweled Lotus. Yes, he doesn't have an Infinity Edge here, he has Spellcrit on the Lux, but it does increase the Spellcrit chance, I believe, and it also gives a chance for it gives a chance for the Mage Nomzi to also get crit on its damage. It just boosts the damage of your whole team instead of the Axiom Arc, which would put all your eggs in the Lux basket, and when you're putting all your eggs in the Lux basket and it gets one shot by Rengar, it's not going to do that much.
It's not. I mean, it's still not going to be good losing that Lux straight away. The Nomzi dies pretty quick after. I guess another note is just Essence Theft is going to help get you some more mana too, so maybe the Axiom Arc is less needed and you just need a little bit more damage. So another thought potentially for Sully on picking that up, but up to 50 gold, gonna lose this fight, but not too terribly, just a little HP, and needs to find that Vlad and that Lux, and very close on both of them as we jump over to Sag, who is level 8, playing, wow, that's an Evoker emblem. There's a lot going on this board, but it looks like we're just going towards as capped as we can, picking up a bunch of dragons on the bench.
This is I have no idea what to describe this level 8 board as, besides just, cool, we're flexing. It's just picking up whatever you look at. This is a kind of cool thing to see when you're going into such flex and playing such weird boards, is you just see a bunch of traits on the side. Yeah. And for this board, I have literally no idea how to describe this. It's just like, just some kind of front line, some kind of back line, which is at its core the most basic version of flex. So really cool board from Sag here.
Well, shout outs to Sag for just demonstrating what I was talking about earlier for why they've been so good in this event, and they've been good on this set, is you can't describe this board. It's very difficult to describe this board. It's just a lot of pretty good things that Sag is looking to transition into something later. But look at his HP, 68 HP. He's second highest in this lobby right now. He takes a loss here. He might go down to third highest under Renzer, but still very high HP, solid economy. One of the first players, if not the first player, I didn't see Wintrick be hit level 8, but one of the first players to level 8, and setting himself up for a good late game to ensure a top 4. This has just been how Sag has been playing on this patch. It's netted him top 2 on the ladder, and in this tournament, he's in the top 4. He's playing super solid, and it's with these creative boards. It's reminiscent of how we used to see Appy's play in set 6.5, with a lot of his boards being very difficult to describe, and then he would get to the late game and have a big pivot, and he would be incredibly powerful, and it was what we praised him for so much in set 6. Sag is doing here in set 7.
Totally agree. I think this is just what Morthog would describe as good TFT and the player he'd be excited to see. So shout out to Sag for being Morthog's new favorite player.
It's big. Covenal gonna be hitting a Jace 2. Finds a Xayah. Looks like there's some guild Xayah availability here to be played. Considered the Itis, but is gonna roll down a little bit more. Maybe just looking for the Xayah 2 and finds it.
Yeah, finds the Xayah 2, random triple Deja shop that you're not gonna play because you have Xayah items, and we're gonna run to, hey look, Lucky's playing Rengar again.
Yeah, he's back on a Rengar, but Covenel not contesting him this time, and Lucky did seem to be the better Dark Flight player in the previous games. Was able to turn, the contested game into a top 4. So maybe Lucky is going to prove me wrong on Dark Flight, because I've not been impressed with this comp overall.
Honestly, if he doesn't top 4 this game, then there's no hope for Dark Flight, because his setup is so good. He has the Swain 2, he has a Morelos, he has Infinity Edge Runans, which is probably the best 2 items for a just blow up backline targets Rengar. He basically has Bis Rengar and Swain. If he doesn't top 4, comp's doomed. Go next. Stop one-tricking it.
All right, moving on over to Jason Java. Only a Sohm 1 here, and we've got double Runans from the Thieves' Gloves onto that Silas. In a spot where you can go down on this round. That's not what you want to see, and Covenel just rolled a bunch of gold, so a dangerous spot for Jason, but phenomenal positioning on his assassins might just keep him alive and well in this spot as that Xayah goes down very quickly.
Man, so we know best in slot. We know Bis. This is worse than slot Silas. This is Whis right here.
Yeah, not a good spot, but the positioning
doesn't matter.
Enough. The
he still won. Enough. But that's the most Whis Silas TG pull I think I've ever seen in my life. That's just funny.
Oh yeah, it's very, very terrible. Jason, though, able to find the carry of Covenel. Hang on a little bit longer as we take a look at Trickbee. These Volibears, these mid-game Volibears, Riley, have been, absolutely beastly. Every time we look at these boards that are win streaking or staying high HP, I feel like we see a Volibear that's item carrying.
Yup, it's very interesting. He passed the 80 gold drop in order to actually look for items. And considering he's opting to try and play the Soifin line, just getting all those items, I actually think is correct here. you're not getting you're not getting much more from going level 9 playing this comp than you would from having really good items spread around onto all these carries. He's got the Morello Carmen now, you've got a triple item Shio Yu, you've got 2 very good items on the Siphon. This is looking like it's going to be a strong 7 Jade Siphon setup, and what would gold do for you there? It doesn't do anything besides get you to level 9, get you a Shio Yu 2 when the level 9 spike isn't that big. So Mort has talked about that gold drop from Treasure Dragon, and they had to nerf it from 100 down to 80 because it was that good, and then this spot passes it up, and I think it was correct.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're committed to that composition. If you wanted to try and play a full Dragon's board, if you felt like that would be enough gold to do so, you could have gone for it. But being in such a good Shio Yu and Siphon spot, being able to just be like, hey, this is going to get me a top 4. I just need to play with some good items here, and it works out potentially for them as well. But Covenel trying to hang on against Phoenix. Gonna live a little bit longer as Jason Java does go down. It was just a Sohm 1. Jason was not long for this world. Covenel able to hold on, so it's not an 8th for Covenel at the very least. And Phoenix losing again. If they were win streaking, their consistency is shot once more.
Yep, and Covenel does find the Shyvana for the 6 Rage Wing, although without Shyvana items, I'm not sure how much of a spike this is. Like, yeah, it's better, but the Shyvana isn't going to be doing that much besides just a knock-up. So Covenel off the Xayah 2 does move the Bulwark's Oath, the Radiant Protector's Vow, onto the Shyvana just for the instant cast, for the instant knock-up. So gets a good Shroud onto Trickpy's Ghost, hitting both the Siphon and the Shio Yu. So about as good of a fight setup as we're going to get here.
Yeah, it's not bad. Covenel should be able to win this one and hang on a little bit longer. Just have to watch out for that 2-star Shio Yu. Still has not gotten through the Edge of Night on it even, so there is a chance that Covenel still loses this one, but Xayah's going to have a big pull and a lot of damage through there. Should be enough as we get one more cast from that Rakan. Covenel going to hang on a little bit longer as Phoenix is the one who's dropping very low. Hey, Phoenix, I talked you up on consistency. You need to place a little better here, but that's just going to be 50% for first places out of consistency games that I've casted on Phoenix at this point, because I don't think this is even going to be a top 4 from the spot we saw him in.
Yeah, it'd be like that. So we're gonna go to Sully, who did hit the Lux 3. Unfortunately, only 2 items on it, but we do have a triple R item, Lilia, buffing it up, so it's not the end of the world. Hopefully we can get a 3rd Lux item off of Carousel for that Lux. For now, though, we're on the 7 mages, we're on the Jeweled Lotus. We've got a lot of damage on this board, but is it going to be enough against these Rengars? This is a scary Rengar board from Lucky.
Yeah, and Rengar gets right in, but the Skarner does drag him away, so that is going to be solid positioning, keeping Lux safe. The casts are huge, but there's the Rengar. One more cast from the Lux. It's probably enough to hold on for at least surviving, but you're not going to kill that giant Swain with the Radiant D-Claw and the Morellas. Is so powerful.
This D-Claw Swain, this is something I've seen Lucky build a ton of just in this tournament, and there's so much AP in these lobbies from people trying to go for dragons. People in this lobby, he probably saw the Mage Namzi and was like, hey, let's pull the D-Claw from the Treasure Dragon. So that is a very scary Swain. That's what I've talked about with that is a Swain comp as much as is a Rengar comp. The Rengar's killed the Lux. It's a 1v3, and that's enough for Swain to completely clean up with no problem.
Yeah, and more generics on the augments as we take a look through there. The Battle Mage, couple Stand Uniteds, Knife's Edge, Jeweled Lotus. Yeah, it's just all kind of generic, strong augments here on that last gold tier. Nothing too crazy, nothing too big to discuss just yet, except for maybe this Better Together and just all the auras that Renzer has with the double chalice.
Yeah, Better Together is it's an augment that used to be an insta-cop when it gave the Protector's Vow, because it boosted one of the most broken items in the game. Now that gives a locket something players don't take as much, especially on 4-2 when that locket has a lot less value. But with the double chalices, it makes complete sense to go for that augment, especially with a triple item Mage Namzi. we'll see how much this cast can do to these Rengars. One Rengar is almost dead. Is it going to go down? It's not going to get targeted. The second cast is not going to do it either. Still not hitting them.
Yeah, and I mean, now it's the Swain, and we've seen this before. We'll see it again. Swain just going to clean up the rest of the board. Not a bad loss for Renzer, but Lucky just farming all these mage players right now with his Swain.
So we remember Dragon Mancer Swain from last set, just 1v9ing, and us no longer getting excited, right? We're back. We're back with the same Swain.
No, I love this Swain, though, because we never
Tyrant
see him.
Swain. We're seeing it 1v5 again. Whoop-de-doo. Oh, I'm so excited. Whee!
Yeah, but Lucky now just has to look to position. I mean, really, it is just positioning in each of these fights. Lucky primed for another top 4. This time, Dark Flight working out. When Lucky is not contested, it looks like they are able to pull it off, especially because this ended up being a mage-heavy lobby with the Domsey being a mage.
Yeah, going up into Sag, who, after all that, oh my god, after all that flexing, he just ended up in Graves.
Yeah, but, you know, just ended up being what he hit. Found great items. I mean, these are really fantastic Graves items. Looks like they'll be able to take out the Dark Flight, you know, being in an attack damage-focused composition. There's a lot of magic damage with the Seraphine, but Graves himself is going to pump out plenty of physical. And that's going to be Lucky losing this one, I'm going to say preemptively, because Swain is not going to heal enough. Yeah, Sag able to take that, and Sag still relatively healthy, looking for that top 4, potentially top 3 even in this spot. Trick P having the Soy and Siphon online. Really solid. That's a good item pickup as well. It's not the best, but it's okay. It's something to play.
It's a third item for Siphon. That's honestly, that's kind of all it is, and it means his bite does more damage. Cool Herald pull.
All right, as they take that down, it will be the third item for Siphon. Is there anything else that this board wants? I mean, you can go to 9 with the amount of gold that Trickby's got. It's just kind of teching in, what, a Bard or some
probably
other
just
5
Bard.
cost?
Yeah, he could probably just honestly go level 9 now, just get the Bard in. Yeah, that's what he's going to opt to do. This is kind of what you do on the Soifin board. You just go level 9. You already have all the synergies you need. You don't need level 9 to really play another one. So you just get the, well, you get the Mystic with Bard 2 with the Shio. So yeah,
that's
just
true.
a
That's
good
pretty
legendary,
nice.
good legendary, especially in this lobby where there's going to be a lot of magic damage. That 2 Mystic is actually
relevant. Yeah, it helps.
really good. Yeah, it's relevant. Exactly.
Generally, that small amount of magic resist probably won't make a difference, and it might not even in this big mage lobby, but it certainly can, right? Even if you survive 1 extra cast, that can be all the difference in a fight. And that could happen with those Mystics as Renzer, that Bard, gonna shut down the mage board, and Renzer going to fall here. Sag taking him out with the Graves, and that's gonna be another top 4 for Sag. Lucky, Tricky, and Sully does hold on this time. Not going to be losing a placement by 1 HP another time here. It does hold out for the 4th.
Yeah, and Trickpy taking down Lucky's Rengar board. So Lucky going all the way to top 3 with the Rengar. We get the rest of our top 3. We have this Graves from Sag, and we have the Soifin from Trickpy. I will say Sag had the creative board to get here, and that's actually what I'm really impressed by. He is also rolling for the Pantheon 3. This could be the second Pantheon 3 we see this tournament. Unfortunately, Trickpy's got some of the other ones.
Yeah, but
so gonna just stop for now. But like I was saying, I'm very impressed with how Sag got here. Yes, we're on a meta line now, but we got here a little bit late. How he got here with that very weird board we couldn't describe, it did enough to get him here and got him to one of the strong comps. So just good flex play to get to this point.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I was dizzy looking at his spot, and the fact that Sag is just calm, collected, being able to push towards a Graves carry with the Graves Seraphine, and yeah, losing to Trickpy, but that Trickpy has such a powerful board. Sag does have an out, though, with this Pantheon 3. It is an option. There is an out that Sag has set up for themselves to actually get a first in this lobby, and so we just have to see this roll down. Can you hit the Pantheon 3? Are there enough in the pool? That's also a question that I have, but I think there might be, as we see Rengar 3, and Lucky can even pick up an extra Rengar.
10 Rengars, really? Again? Just natural 10 Rengars. This rat is waiting for the last moment to upgrade them too. Just because why not?
Yeah, doesn't want him to scout him too much. Here we go. Holds on to two stars, decides it's better.
Is it even?
I have no idea. I could not tell you. But Lucky maybe could tell you.
I genuinely don't know. I mean, the Rengars got taken down by the Graves.
Wasn't enough to win this one. I mean, Swain's not going to hold on. We've seen this a couple times before.
Yeah,
Graves is able to get through.
I genuinely wonder if this is better. I could not tell you if the 2 Rengar 2s is better than Rengar 3, Rengar 1. But is the Swain going to actually pull this out? There's no way. Quite. Lucky goes down in 3rd.
Yeah, but you can tell it was obviously intentional, right? He sat on there for a while
it was
looking
intentional,
at those Rengars, right? So
I'm pretty sure it was not correct. There is no shot that's correct.
Yeah, I'd love to hear from Lucky about that. Just because Lucky, has been grinding that comp for some time, and in this spot decides that holding on to 2 stars was the right play. It's definitely odd because there was the option to have the 1 star as well. It's not like you were fully dropping an extra Rengar. That's where I was more questioning here. But TrickP does find a Pantheon, so taking one more out of the pool for Sag. And it looks like the Pantheons are gone from Sag's board here.
Yeah.
Oh, was it Define Seraphine 3 or did he already have Seraphine 3?
It might have been Define Seraphine 3, and I think he knew his odds of hitting the Pantheon 3 even on just 1 left were low because he was finding the last Pantheon in the pool. TrickP has the other 3. So just gives up on that. I assume to go for the Seraphine 3, which is about as viable as an out as you can get considering your odds of hitting the Pantheon 3 are that much more unlikely.
Yeah, well, gonna try and see if this is enough. It doesn't feel like it is so far with both the Xiaoyu and the Siphon still alive. The board in shambles. Looks like it's just the Graves remaining. Gets bit down by the Siphon. And TrickP going to take another first here. He's been having some pretty first or 8th gameplay so far in today's tournament, but this time swing